Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Salomon boots or shoes for review. Always excited to do those. Let's see what we got. These are the all-new Salomon Quest 4 GTX. Now, don't confuse them with the older version, the Salomon Quest 4D3 GTX. This is the all-new 4 version. Almost wish that there wasn't a 4D in there so that people don't get confused. But this is brand new. The link for Amazon is in the description below. Check it out. So far, only 5 ratings, 5 stars. Not gonna see a lot of those for a while, but I'm telling you, these boots gonna explode because their previous version was extremely popular. So let's see if this is an upgrade. Now, as most of you already know, this review is not just a regular boot review. No, this review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival boots section. Basically, if something bad happened and you were either hiking or you were at work or doing whatever, maybe sitting in the house, and you had these boots, maybe you had them on or you had them somewhere on the shelf that you could put them on. And you did. Now you had to leave your house and walk, run, fight on the way because it's survival situation. I don't know. Use your imagination. 2020 has been pretty crazy. 2021 has been crazy so far. I would say probably crazier so far. So you probably have some survival scenarios in your head. So use them, right? And this is the boot that you were wearing. Would this help you to survive or, well, not? How do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin the review. Criteria number 1, of course, comfort level, one of the more important ones. And in order to test the comfort level of all the boots that I review on this channel, boots, shoes, because I do some hiking shoes, some trail running shoes as well, I do a 3-mile run non-stop and then a 5-mile walk, no pauses in between, again non-stop right after the run, and then I continue wearing the boots or shoes for the rest of the day so that the total wear time is about 8 hours. Now I know some of the things that I run in, some of the boots like work boots, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You wouldn't really run in those in pretty much any kind of normal wearing situation, but that allows me to have a very unbiased, very balanced conclusion for everything that I review on this channel whenever it comes to the comfort, to the traction, and a lot of other things. So let's talk about this boot in particular. It is very comfortable. It is extremely comfortable. Now, don't get me wrong, the Quest 3 4D GTX, the previous version, was very comfortable as well. But are these more comfortable? Well, let's see. There are a few factors that typically contribute to the comfort level or takeaway. One of them is the weight. Let's find out exactly how heavy or light these are. And now the Quest 4D3, they were on the heavier side. I don't remember exactly. I think they were about 23, 24 ounce, if I'm not mistaken, size 10. This is also size 10. And 22.5. Now, I cannot tell you for a fact how much lighter they are than the previous version, but they are definitely lighter because the other ones were at least in the 23, at least, if not 24. So Salomon did a great job by lightening these ones, and you can definitely tell. Now, in order to give you kind of a reference number that you were looking for, if you're looking for lightweight hiking boots, right, trekking boots, backpacking boots, you want something under 20 ounce. So the more under 20 ounce you are, the lighter they are. The more over 20 ounce you go, the heavier it gets. Then you start feeling that weight on your feet. So these are definitely a little bit on the heavier side, not by much, just a little bit above 20 ounce, not that big of a deal. I think it's a worth of compromise because you do get a lot of protection in this boot, which we will talk about later. But overall, not that bad for a full-size boot with the GTX waterproofing, with great amount of protection. I think that's definitely a pretty good weight. There are a few other factors that contribute to the comfort level. One of them is the flexibility of the outsole. And as you can see, you don't really have that much of the flexibility. Now it doesn't really, not really that much of the stiffness to take away from the mobility, but I do wish that there was a little bit more of the flexibility in the outsole. Now don't get me wrong, once you get them and you go through that break-in period in the boot, it will get a little bit more flexible, but I prefer something that is comfortable and flexible and whatever really I need from the boot out of the box. All right, so let's get on the inside. We do have the inner sole, and let me try to take it out so that I can show you. Now the inner sole practically did not change, only now it's not blue, it is red, and it almost feels like there's a little bit more cushioning in the heel, but I think I will have to do a back-to-back comparison between the newer version, the Quest 4, versus the Quest 3. So let me know, guys, in the comments below if you want me to do that. If you do, I will make that happen. But this is your Ortholite. Now, Ortholite is a great inner sole. It's not unique to Salomon. It's used in a lot of other different boots. Basically, it has the antibacterial qualities, kind of like a moisture wicking fabric. You do have some heel bed going on, not much, but it does give you a little bit of support for the heel. Pretty good. And then there is an arch support as well. Very soft. Now, whenever you take out the inner sole, there isn't really anything else that is happening. It goes straight into the outsole, the hard rubber. I kind of wish that there was additional layer. Sometimes Salomon, in some of their boots, they implement a thin blue kind of jelly layer, adds to the cushioning of the inner sole. There isn't one here. Keep that in mind. You do have the padding that adds to the comfort in the tongue, in the shaft, of course, and you do have a slightly softer type of fabric that's going all the way throughout inside of the boot. Not much. Still very, very important to get this in the right size and maybe wear some thicker socks with these for the best comfort that you can get out of this boot, but nevertheless it is still pretty decent. Alrighty, so overall on the comfort level, I think they did do a little bit of an improvement over the 3, not by much. I think they could have done more, like implementing the blue jelly layer on the inside. Now again, guys, this is a personal preference. I've seen comments from my subscribers saying that that blue layer, it makes it worse. They don't like it. I personally do like it, so it really hit and miss. You know, don't get my word for a fact. This is just my personal preference. And another thing that is a personal preference, I think that Salomon could have done better. They could have implemented a little bit of more cushioning on the inside going through the toe box, especially because there is this harder layer of rubber to give you protection, because you might feel it from the inside because it's so hard. Alrighty, so let's move on to the criteria number 2 now, proofing and protection. Now this is really where this boot does shine. Proofing wise, it has the fancy Gore-Tex waterproofing technology. You probably already noticed the label here. Gore-Tex GTX is, like I said, it's a fancy waterproofing technology. It is a special type of membrane that is implemented inside of the fabric. And what it does is it gives it waterproofing, obviously. And at the same time, not taking away much from the lightness of the boot and breathability. And that's very important because a lot of times whenever it comes to having a waterproof boot, you add a lot to the weight. Gore-Tex does not. The only thing that GTX technology adds to is the price. Yeah, so if you see something that has GTX at the end, most likely it's going to be on the pricier side because that technology is pretty expensive. You probably noticed the gusseting on the tongue, speaking of the waterproofing. And let's see if Salomon did it right. Let's see. So it's about, the gusseting goes from the outsole is 6 inches. So they use 6 inches, which is great job, Salomon, because the whole shaft is about 6 inches. So they used the whole length of the shaft for waterproofing. Great job there, Salomon. And I have to point it out because a lot of times I get the boots and they do have 6 inch or whatever 5 inch shaft. and then they only have 3 inches of waterproofing because of the gusseting. And it's like, why didn't you use the whole? It makes no sense. But anyway, great job with the waterproofing there, Salomon. And let's move on to the protection now. The protection here, again, this is where these boots do shine, because you get a lot of all sorts of kind of protection. First of all, you have that protective rubber. Now, don't get me wrong, it is still kind of soft. So if something big, 20-pound rock or whatever, something like that, will fall on your foot, this is not a steel toe. You're definitely going to feel it. But compared to everything, pretty much everything else in the hiking range, this is probably the best that you can get. And I really do like the fact that it goes all the way out here. Now, you do have protection, of course, in the body of the boot, and of course in the ankles, because you do have the full size shaft, pretty good. And the heel is reinforced as well. You do have protection from the outsole, which we will talk about later, because it's a very nice thick outsole with a very hard layer of rubber on the bottom. The contact grip technology, the Salomon's special outsole technology, but we will talk about it in the outsole. Let's move on to the criteria number 3 now: quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, Salomon, they have been doing boots forever. They know what they're doing whenever it comes to outdoor stuff, whenever it comes to hiking boots. Not just boots, really. They do have a lot of clothing, a lot of accessories. They know what they're doing. And if you judge by Amazon reviews, you will find a lot of positive reviews. Now, like I said, these particular boots, because they're brand new, they just showed up on Amazon, you're not gonna find a lot of reviews, only 5 right now, still 5 stars. I will contribute 1 myself for that. But check out the older version. Check out the older Quest 3 4D GTX version, and you will see how many people do like these boots. Let's talk about the design features now. Usually here I talk about the lacing system. Lacing system here is great. I think that's one of the things that has been improved since the version 3. As you can see, you do have some variety of close hooks, going from the fabric ones to the heavy duty plastic ones, close hooks. And then you have this active support technology, which is basically these flaps on both sides of the boot, but because it's a little bit of a longer kind of tube that holds the string in place, and whenever you tighten it, it kind of gives you support and a good wrap from the sides of your foot. Very, very helpful. And then it goes into the regular close hook. And then I'm really happy that Salomon kept in this boot. For some reason they got rid of it in their Ultra X 4, which I love the technology in the Ultra 3, but they got rid of it on Ultra 4. Here they kept it, which is their locking system, the side hooks which lock in place, as you can see, and it really does lock. It does hold the string in place. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to set a certain amount of tension here in the body of the boot, lock the string in place, and then set a different kind of tension here with these 2 pairs of open hooks, which are actually metal to kind of give you more, because I know some people don't like these as plastic. They complain that they snap. This is definitely not gonna snap. I mean, don't get me wrong, plastic hooks never snapped on me either, but hey, I've seen some reviews, I've seen some comments on my channel. It happens. But this is definitely gonna be secure. But I'm really happy that Salomon did this locking technology here, and I mean, like I said, it really does lock in place, because to take it out, especially in holding the boot like this, you really need to put in some effort. And it's great because once you set the tension here, you're walking, for example, up the heel, you want to release the tension really quickly in your shaft, you can definitely do it with this boot without messing up the rest of the support that you set for the rest of the boot. Great job there, Salomon. Let's move on to the criteria number 4 now. Outsole, traction and stability. Now here we talk about the outsole. And in order to test the traction and stability, whenever I do my run and my walk, I do it on a variety of different surfaces, starting from the older asphalt, going to the newer tarmac, and then going into the sand, dry sand, wet sand, going to the grass, both wet and dry, and then some trail surfaces, some rocky road, and then finishing up on some marble and tile. Now, let me get this out of the way so that I don't forget. Marble and tile, most of the times you have a problem with especially hiking boots, they're very, very squeaky. This is not squeaky at all. I don't know how they did it, but it's not squeaky at all. All right, great job there, Salomon. Now, everything else, really everything else, it handles unbelievably well. This is one of the best outsoles that you can find out there. And one of the reasons is because it has a great balance of aggression and flatness. So on surfaces like wet grass, where it's very slippery, you do have enough of aggression in these grooves to kind of catch on that grass. And on surfaces like wet sand, you don't have too much of weird stuff in the design going where the sand can get stuck, or on the rocky road where small rocks can get stuck and your boot becomes heavier and give you less traction. Not a problem here at all. Great job there, Salomon. And of course, the ridges here on the sides are great too. If you are climbing something, a rope, a tree, whatever, this will be very helpful as well. Surprisingly, they handle very, very well on shiny flat surfaces. Probably thanks to these little grooves, they kind of give you, they're not advertised as slip resistant, but these thin grooves right here, they kind of give you a little bit of that slip resistant kind of qualities. All right. Now, whenever it comes to the snow and ice, they do handle very well on the snow. On ice, that's probably the best that you can get outside of the, specifically ice boots with some spikes. So just a regular hiking boot that is not a winter boot, that is not an ice boot. This is the best really that you can get whenever it comes to that sort of stuff. But again, like I said, this is not really a snow boot. This is not an ice boot. So keep that in mind. And that brings me to the criteria number 5, the temperature. Now, because this is not a snow boot or ice boot or winter boot, it doesn't have any kind of insulation. Now, can you use them in the winter? Yes, you definitely can. If you implement some insulated socks, these are waterproof after all, and the outsole is pretty good to handle in the ice and the snow. So you can definitely get away with some insulated socks and use them in some colder temperatures, in some winter temperatures, for sure. Now, if you do have experience with these boots in some severe temperatures, some severe cold temperatures, I'm talking below 20. I mean, probably for some it's not really severe, but I'm from Florida. I live in Florida, so I'm not used to cold that much, and originally from the desert. All right. I grew up in the desert, so I'm not used to cold at all, and now I live in Florida, so yeah. But let me know, guys, if you had experience testing them in some really, really cold temperatures. Let me know. The coldest ones that I tested them in was about 25 degrees, so not that cold for most of you. Very cold for me though. But in hot temperatures, testing them here in Florida in about 90 degrees weather, they're definitely very breathable. Now, on the warmer side, obviously, because this is full size, because they're waterproof, and because of everything that you're getting, all the protection adds up to it, but still not to the point where you are overheating and it's unbearable. Keep that in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 6 now, the sizing. Now, they are true to the size. Yes, I do recommend getting all the boots half a size bigger than your normal shoe size. So if you're wearing your dress shoes or sneakers in size 9.5, get yourself size 10 so you have a little bit of that extra space, and that will definitely contribute to the comfort level. You want that a little bit of the extra space. Let's move on to the criteria number 7 now, the balance of application. So if something really happened, something bad, and these really were the boots that you were wearing, would they contribute to your survival or not? Will they not contribute to your survival, and will they contribute to your imminent death? All right. All right. Well, honestly, I think if I had a choice right now of all the boots that I have reviewed on this channel, this is definitely not in my top 10. This is definitely my top 5 of all of the boots that I have reviewed so far on this channel. Whenever it comes to the ultimate survival boots, I absolutely love these boots. Now, the only thing I'd say is that they're a little bit on the heavier side, and my personal preference whenever it comes to boots is lightness. I don't like something that takes away from that mobility, being quick on your feet, being able to run fast, being able to move fast, and then walk for extended periods of time without the weight on your feet slowing you down or fatiguing you. This is the only thing that is not up to my standards. I would say they're a little bit on the heavier side, but overall I think that's definitely worth a compromise, a sacrifice, whenever it comes to getting all of the protection that you're getting in this boots, all of the features. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you think. And the very last criterion here is the criterion number 8, the price, currently around $220 on Amazon. Now, whenever it comes to the price, I think it's definitely a fair price, and honestly I'm kind of surprised that they're not more expensive than this, because the older version, the Quest 3 4D GTX, they do run around that same price, and usually whenever you have new stuff coming out, usually it's at the top of the price range. So I think 220 is definitely not that bad, definitely on the pricier side, but I mean, this is really serious. If you never tried wearing a Salomon boot, check it out, guys. You have to check it out, because once you do, once you try it on, you will understand why they are in that price range and why a lot of experienced hikers prefer them. All right, because of the comfort, because of the features, because of the amazing traction and stability that the outsole provides. Now, is there a lot of competition in that price range? Yes, of course, there is some decent competition in that price range, but so far it seems like Salomon is on top of that game. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about this new version of Salomon Quest? Do you think it's an upgrade from Quest 3? Do you think you could use them as your main hiking boots, or you could use them as your ultimate survival boots? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any requests for reviews, you can also drop them in the comments below. I always look out for those. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America. See you guys in the next video.